Hello, hello! Welcome to Club Chrisette. I'm your host, Chrisette, and welcome back to Light in the Dark. So, when we last left off, our kidnapper went to go talk to someone about getting the ransom, and that didn't happen, so we got the crap beaten out of us, but we're somehow still alive. So without further ado, let us hop back into A Light in the Dark. So it's day 6 now. We're still here, still being kidnapped. Okay. I can't even imagine where the story's gonna go at this point. Like, are we just gonna be here forever? It was morning. I didn't sleep well. The continuous series of incidences and the pain in my body made it difficult to fall asleep. I heard arguments and the sound of things getting smashed in my half-asleep state, but I didn't notice any of it in the room. The taste of blood in my mouth was nauseating, and all my muscles seemed to be twitching in pain. I staggered to my feet and tried to go rinse my mouth in the bathroom, but instead I lost my balance and fell to the floor. I gave up and just let myself lying on the floor, feeling my chest heaving through deep breathing. Every heartbeat reminded me of the fact that I was still alive. I wasn't sure if she just woke up early or didn't sleep at all, but the girl was leaning against the window with a half-burned cigarette in her hand. She just gave me a look when I fell down. The air was so heavy that no one bothered to say anything. Time flew. Even cigarette sparks started to fade. Another cigarette was lit, and then it was out. The repetition continued until the whole pack was gone. Anything to eat? My voice apparently shocked the girl, who immediately tensed her body like an alarmed cat and jumped out of her chair. I was too scared to make any sound. She stared at me briefly before giving me a long sigh while supporting her head. Huh. With bags under her eyes, she didn't even bother to complain. Still thinking about food? Are you nuts? Nothing is more important than food. No one knew what would happen next. I didn't even have the spare energy to think about anything else but the present. Really? Would getting fed solve the problem? She threw the bread at me with a more self-deprecating smile on her face. So what now? Okay, let's... This is so important. Let's chat with... We can chat with either or. This is so important. Hang on. I want to save the game. No, I want to save the game so we can try to utilize all our options on this day, because this is a very different day. Oh well, we have the save file, so we can come back to it. I'd be very interested in replaying this day. Older girl. What do you plan to do next? That seems like a very valid question. No, no. She replied without a second thought. Her expression was so deadpan, I couldn't even tell if she was joking. Maybe the money will come soon. I mean, I don't want to tell her the cops will be here. She stole a glance at me and snorted in displeasure. Stop saying things like that. Stop saying things that you don't even believe. I'm not some 3-year-old. I do hope he sends the money over soon, though. Noticing the helplessness and seriousness in my voice, she didn't retort as usual and only quietly turned her head. Then pray harder. Let's see if we can go to the bathroom and actually use the... Oh. Yeah, the mirror is completely shattered now. There are tons of shattered glass shards on the floor. I might get hurt by them if I'm not careful. Boy, pick one up! I have tried playing with shattered glass before. My nanny nagged me for the whole afternoon after finding my hand covered in blood. I didn't find anything interesting. I should check somewhere else. Shattered by violence, the mirror would no longer reflect anyone's face. Why didn't you pick up one of the freaking shards? Like, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be sharp enough for him to try to cut the rope with it, but still, what a waste. After a while, the little girl woke up as well. She sat up slowly on the bed. She looked at her sister at first, then to me, then lowered her head helplessly. She really was depending on it. Whether it was her sister yelling at her or shaking her fist with an insane, nasty face, these all must be unfamiliar to her. She thought everything was under control. She thought if she listened to her big sis, there would be money. Now she realized things are out of control. Not only would there be no money coming, they might have to face the penalty. The bubble of fantasy popped, leaving only the terrifying reality that made people uncomfortable. Have some food. The girl passed the breakfast to her sister. The little girl raised her head and looked at her big sis, hoping to hear some words of encouragement or explanation. But there was nothing. The girl just leaned against the wall without a word. There were too many things to think about. There were too many things to think about, and her sister's feelings were the least of her concerns. The little girl didn't ask anything. She knew no one could answer her question. Or perhaps she already knew the answer. She started to make paper cranes after finishing the sandwiches. Her mechanical movements held no meaning. There would never be enough cranes to pay off the debt without the ransom. She knew that too. But that was all she could do to support her sister. Nothing more. It was sad that making 1,000 paper cranes would pass your wish to the divine. Looking at all the cranes on the floor, I wondered if her wish had been heard. Standing within this world of darkness, there was no sky nor land, only endless darkness. The same old dream. Is it going to be our mother's face? I won't cry. I knew this would end up like this. No matter what I do, no one will ever believe me. No one will believe us, and no one will ever help us. I once again heard her words of hatred. I hate people like you. I woke up from the nightmare and saw the small room. I still hadn't escaped from this nightmare called reality. I somehow fell asleep and it was nighttime already. Oh wow, we skipped all of our day options. My body hadn't gotten any better, and my injuries were swollen and burning like fire. The soaking wet cloth on my body made me tremble. The lack of sleep and malnutrition rendered my body powerless. I couldn't even feel the fever of my fluctuating body temperature. I heard footsteps and raised my head. The girl looked down on me. There was no warmth in her eyes. Where is your sister? I let her go first. To spare her the gore? She snorted upon hearing my joke, clearly not appreciating the way I talked. So you'll kill me now. Letting go of the roundabout approach, I cut right to the chase. Either kill me or let me go. I didn't care which. I suddenly realized how ironic it was when we talked about communication and mutual understanding. But in this situation, we finally let go of the pretentiousness and expressed our true selves. I won't kill you. Or save you. It's up to you to escape from here. Just like you don't care about us, I don't care about you. Hearing her determined tone, I remembered the only thought in my mind these past few days. I don't care what they think. I'm getting out of here. So, we were the same, even up to these sort of selfish aspects. You can hate me or blame me, I don't care. Misinterpreting my smile, her look was not one of disgust, but coldness. I was too tired to argue, so I just shook my head. We fell silent. After looking at my weak posture, she said, "No one helped us when we were hungry." I know. Realizing what she wanted to say, I finished the sentence for her. No one takes responsibility for your life, so nor should you with mine. 'Cause the world isn't fair, right? That's right. She nodded and picked up my backpack. Then she left without turning back. Her footsteps echoed through the stairwell and eventually faded in the rain. There was no one but me in the room. Huh. I struggled toward the desk, and even a few steps I made exhausted everything I had left. I basically collapsed on top of the chair. My reopened wound started to bleed again. I didn't even have the energy to grab the knife. Panting next to the window, I couldn't clearly see what was outside of it. There was only gray sky and the rain. I remember how she'd smoked next to the window and seemed to try to find something out there. What did she actually see then? I closed my eyes out of exhaustion. If only I had one more chance. Could we let go of our biases and reach a different outcome? With a light sigh, I let the rain engulf my last of my consciousness. Did we die? Well, shoot, we did die. Well, that seemed, less than optimal. Let us try again, I guess? Fast forward. Yes, everyone is sad. Everyone is sad. She gets scared, yes. And she throws bread at us. And now what do we do? So you drink a cola when you're sick, huh? What do you drink then? Don't you usually have a sports drink? Maybe hot ginger tea? Nanny would usually make a huge bowl of that for me to drink when I was sick. Just the smell made my scalp tingle. But even now, that had become a special memory. That's what we drink in our family. Every time someone got sick, my dad would buy a whole box of it. Said it could fight the fever. The topic brought forth some memories for her. There was some inexplicable emotion as she gazed toward the window. Did it work? I did hear about drinking cola when you have a heat stroke, so it may be... I did hear about drinking cola when you have heat stroke. So in that regard, it did make sense, I guess. Who knows? It's not poison anyway, and it's not as bad as some other sweet drinks. It doesn't matter if it works, it's just a habit. Just like the need to pray before a meal, or or some only smoke a certain brand of cigarette. When a behavior becomes a habit, it starts to take on another meaning and leads to many memories. Looking at the side of her face, deep in thought, I realized she even had a sentimental side. So what now? Chat? So in the end, no money? What are you trying to say? I want to say that he doesn't give a crap about me. Do better do research next time you try kidnapping. The long wait led to this result. I could only laugh bitterly. That's not even funny. It's disgusting to become so heartless due to money. Well, he's a famous CEO featured in a magazine and admired by many, though. And that's why I say they're messed up. She grunted next to the wall, looking at me with an expression of sympathy. I say you stay away from folks like that, or you might end up like them. Like them, huh? Without noticing herself, she spoke to me as one of us instead of one of them. Who knows? Maybe getting kidnapped was not such a bad thing. She thought if she listened to her big sis, there would be money. Now she realized everything's out of her control. I'm waiting for the moment that something's different. She started to make paper cranes after finishing the sandwiches. It's so sad, this situation. Like, people are born into these situations that are completely out of their control, and we can tell them they just gotta work hard, but who knows what all variables are in their way of having a happy and successful life, you know? I hate people like you. So that was all the same. It's nighttime now. Okay, yeah, we got the same ending. Dang it! So we're gonna try going back a day instead. Instead of going to day 6, we're gonna go to day 5. So I'm going back to day 5 because I think I might have sealed our fate when I picked the give up option on this day rather than actually picking the attempt to escape option. Maybe our dude would have some fight left in him if we tried to escape. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping we can get a better ending, right? Attempting to escape. Who knows? Maybe we'll just get our face kicked in. Only soldiers or some tech manufacturers still use this kind of antique phone. Even old people use smartphones these days. Old phones can't connect to the internet or leave a traceable GPS signal. You can only track location through a phone call. Is that why she uses it? You have quite an antique phone. It's usable, and I don't need all those fancy features other phones have anyway. Well, the manufacturers need to make money with new products, and the technology is advancing, so how many of those do you really need? She coldly interrupted me. Some don't even have a phone, while others waste their lives to build all these fancy gimmicks. Just like some people are starving while others are picky with their food and call themselves food critics. I really find people like you disgusting. So be it. Feeling the deep-rooted hatred in her look, I nonchalantly shrugged. Those things existed before, exist now, and will exist in the future. We don't choose which part of the world we were born in. We could only struggle in this world with the shootsies. Chat, older girl. Why do you owe so much money? I don't know why I'm trying all my other options. My dad tried to start a company with someone, but that partner skipped town with all the money. That should be none of your business, though. You can just file for bankruptcy. He thought he could make up the loss if he kept the business running, so he loaned a ton from a loan shark. He's no businessman, so the business naturally failed. He himself skipped town too instead of making any money. But legally, that's his own debt. Legally? She cut me off with a grunt, then asked with a raised eyebrow. Do you think this is some entrance exam? What are the cops for if everyone follows the law? Why don't you seek help from a social worker? This is probably a horrible answer, honestly. For crying out loud. Stop talking like a big shot. You think you're so smart, and we're just all idiots. She suddenly kicked me, then coldly looked at me, struggling on the ground. Yeah, like I said, that wasn't the best answer. Let me tell you this. Everything you learn from textbooks is completely useless. If 1/10 of that bullcrap was real, you think I would really be here? So shut your trap if you want to go home in one piece, understood? So what now? Chat. You look really tired. We've already gone through this dialogue, though. None of your business, she replied sourly, yet the thick, dark circles under her eyes said it all. Okay, yeah. We're gonna pick a different answer this time. I told you it might spread. Shut up! I'm not in the same bad shape as you. I'm not helping you if you faint. Shut up. Lack of sleep led to a bad temper. She waved her hand to try to stop me from saying more. She can't even take a joke. She couldn't seem to calm down on the big day. Yep. Sound from outside. And we know it's her sister at this point. We'll tell her thank you for helping me. Right. I almost forgot to thank you. Why are you thanking me? When I was sick a few days ago, weren't you the one that asked to buy some medicine? No, Big Sis would have helped you anyway. She awkwardly avoided my gaze, as though admitting that helping me was something to be embarrassed about. I understood her conflicted mind. To her, my gratitude might not be praise, but criticism. Where did your big sis go? I don't know. I tried to start a conversation and still made no progress. Don't you care at all? Big Sis told me to guard you and that she'd be back soon. The girl calmly lowered her head, as though living her own in her own world without one bit of anxiety or guilt as a criminal. Aren't you afraid? Afraid of what? Being found out by the cops. What if the cops find you? Saying, I don't know, won't cut it. She pressed her lips and said nothing. There was some hesitation in her expression when she stared at me. With how advanced technology has become, there are surveillance cameras everywhere. It's only a matter of time before they find out. No matter how good your big sis is, she wouldn't be able to protect you at that point. She tried to open her mouth, but paused a little, then swallowed her words. Give it some thought. It seemed like she did care, but just somehow suppressed her anxiety. Compared to her big sis's stubbornness, she might let me go if I pressure her more. The Miss Wang you mentioned earlier, yes, we know who she is at this point. No more hesitation. It was my only chance. Oh, okay. I was like wondering like what happened to the screen, like but it just okay. I suddenly raised my hand and pushed away the little girl with my elbow. Her fragile frame fell to the ground with a weak scream. Should I cut the rope or just run? My thoughts were a mess, and my body moved on its own. I stumbled to the exit and forgot all about my plan. My feverish mind could only think about one thing: escape. Regardless the method and who I would harm or kill, I would get out of here. What the hell? I was at the door but couldn't open it. The trembling hand couldn't even open the knob steady. Was the sister coming back? Did the little girl stand up? Was it too late to grab the knife? The adrenaline rendered my mind blank, and within the chaos, I couldn't open the door. Open! Open now! Open the goddamn door, damn it! I lost control and smashed both my hands against the door. The door made a squeaking sound and gave me hope. All of a sudden, time stopped. All the voice vanished, and my hyped emotion cooled down. What happened? I felt the blade through my chest, yet there was no pain, only an alien sensation of dissonance. I was stabbed? As though answering my question, all the feeling returned to my body at once. The fierce pain came with the torn muscle, and I heard myself screaming. There was no air in my chest. I tried to breathe, but felt the power leaving my body swiftly. Will I die? Will I die in this god-forsaken place? No one knew. No one cared. My legs gave out, and I kneeled to the ground. I should yell or stop the bleeding. Yet, at this moment, all I could think of was the fact that I would die. Eileen, are you? As though teasing my futile effort, the girl returned and pushed the door open with ease. You. Shocked by the bloodshed before her, she was speechless. Sorry. I am sorry. You jerk. You couldn't take care of her bumbling sister. She rushed towards and supported me. The gushing blood stained her coat. She helplessly bit her lips. Feeling my life was escaping, I saw the little girl just stood there with her eyes filled with fear, not believing what she had done. Strangely, I had no resentment against her. When the death was this close, nothing seemed to matter as much. The girl who didn't possess the courage to stand up to her fate and only listen to her sister, how heavy would the word murder be to her? Oh no. I wanted to tell her not to feel bad about this and that I didn't hate her. All that came out of my mouth was blood. You shit! Eileen, call the ambulance, now! She made up her mind and called out to her little sister, yet her voice sounded so far away. Why the ambulance for me? They didn't intend to end my life after all this without the ransom, or... It became difficult for me to think. All the blood loss made my body cold. Everything became blurry before me. Don't you die now, you loser! Hang in there! I was dumbfounded by her panicking voice. It would all be over for me when I closed my eyes, but they wouldn't have countless problems to face afterward. I was dumbfounded by the panicking in her voice. It would all be over for me when I closed my eyes, but they would have countless problems to face afterwards. Where to run? What to do without the money? Should they surrender? Whatever. None of it mattered. I powerlessly closed my eyes. Only then did I feel the temperature in her hands. It was warmth that was shared by everyone equally, regardless of upbringing or position. I'm just not doing good at getting these endings. I may have to look up a guide or something to get a different outcome. I don't know, guys. I'm not sure what to do. I totally thought checking out the bathroom mirror would have been the answer. Alright, everybody. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments below. How do you think we can actually get the good ending? Like, there's supposed to be a day 7, but I'm not sure how to get there yet. If you guys have any ideas, like, let me know, definitely. I definitely want to see this series through. And thank you so much for watching my videos and my content. It means so much to me. And until next time, you all have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!